Utopia, The Sound of Drums, and Last of the Time Lords. 10 out of 10. Wow, 3 top scores in a row. The TARDIS transports the Doctor, Martha, and Captain Jack, who has hitched a lift on the side of a TARDIS in one of the most daft scenes I've seen in a long time, to 1 trillion years in the future, near to the end of time itself. There they meet up with the last remaining humans who are sheltering away from Mad Max-style cannibals. In hiding, they await a trip on an unfinished rocket to Utopia, with the genius Professor Yana at the controls. Martha discovers that the Professor has about his person a Time Lord fob watch, the same as the Doctor used in Human Nature Family of Blood, to hide his true self. It appears the Doctor is not the last of his race after all, and that the Professor is not as he seems. Unbeknownst to the Doctor and to himself, he is in fact the greatest evil in the universe, the Master. The Professor, played by the renowned Derek Jacobi, remembers his true evil self and turns on his assistant before regenerating after she shoots him into the new form of John Sims' Master. Whilst the rest of the episode is not overly memorable, these last 5 minutes are easily the most exciting since the return of the Cybermen last season. Jacobi and Sim are both excellent in their different portrayals of a snarling Jacobi and unhinged Sim, Master, and are to me the best interpretations I've seen since the great Delgado introduced the character. The sinister James Bond villain that Delgado created degenerated into a pantomime baddie during the 80s and 90s, and it finally feels like Jacobi and Sim have steered the character in their different ways back to its early creepy brilliance again. Sim adds a really dark humour to the character as we head into The Sound of Drums. The Doctor and companions follow the Master to modern day to find that he has hypnotised Britain into electing him as Prime Minister. We finally get some backstory on the Master. Apparently him and the Doctor were at the Time Lord Academy together when they were young. Okay, we already knew this, but hear me out. He was forced by his elders as a cruel childhood initiation task to stare into the heart of an untempered schism, a hole through reality, and it drove him insane. As this is described, we get to see the gorgeous landscapes of the Master and the Doctor's home world of Gallifrey. We're also reminded of the Time Lord's less than perfect idea of morality and its devastating effects. As well as this origin segment about the Master, the Doctor also intimates that he may have also been subject to this test, which may have been when and why he decided to run away from the Time Lords, stealing the TARDIS on the way. I quite like the idea of an 8-year-old William Hartnell throwing off the shackles of the Academy and escaping in the TARDIS for all his adventures, and this would make a great 50th anniversary episode. Anyway, back to The Sound of Drums, which is another amazing and genuinely frightening episode. By the cliffhanger, the Doctor has been aged 100 years and is on death's door, courtesy of the Master's laser screwdriver. And 1 out of 10 of the population of the world has been massacred by the Master's allies, the Toclaflane, who in turn end up being the last of the humans, who he has converted into aliens, having persuaded them to go to Utopia with him in the previous episode. In the final episode, Last of the Time Lords, we join the story a year later. The Earth has fallen into the Master's control, the humans are enslaved, and the Doctor is imprisoned by his old classmate. It's pretty bleak stuff. Martha, who managed to escape in the last episode, is now on a mission to cross the globe, spreading the hope of the Doctor, trying to break the hypnotic power of fear the Master has over them. The Doctor bides his time, waiting for Martha to arrive and put his final battle plan to overthrow the Master into effect. As much as the Doctor and the Master hold bitterness and contempt for each other, they are the last of the 2 remaining Time Lords, and there's a connection between them as close as brothers. The Master is basically the dark mirror image of the Doctor, like a Moriarty to his Holmes, and the 2 are inexplicably linked, for better or for worse. This is demonstrated in a scene in which the Doctor cradles a dying Master, who, let us not forget, is responsible for killing 1/10 of the population of the world, and is begging him to regenerate and join him as the last of the Time Lords. It takes a great actor and a great character to make you sympathise with a monster, and Sim manages this with great aplomb, and through magical writing of Russell T Davies. Yes, there are some supremely daft moments in this 3-parter, but most of the moments of camp dark horror are done so brilliantly by Sim that you can't help but love it, and this is another fantastic series ender that every fan should see.